Hey people, I'm John, the CEO. Educated sisters falling off the corporate glass cliff. Hey my business people, in today's lessons for business and motivation. So I'm reading this article in Forbes Magazine that was reposted by Yahoo Sports called, quote, Black Women and the Glass Cliff. I was supposed to bring some kind of black girl magic, unquote. It's a long title. But before I get into the article, I want my sisters especially to pay attention because between this article and many others focused on black women I've read over the years, there is a big disconnect between the realities of business war and the expectations sisters have after they graduate college and enter the corporate ranks. A few sisters already understand where I'm going at with this, but many, I'm afraid, don't. Bear with me as I go over this article because with my 30 years experience dealing with large Fortune 1000 corporations, including C-level executives who are my consulting clients, I'm going to put many of you on real corporate game. And for those who are not black out there, this can apply to you too, but my focus is on the least of us, and sisters still have median incomes lower than most. Before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe so that this video gets viewed by as many sisters and brothers as possible and to help us become #1 in median incomes. Now, these companies pay me a lot of money for help, for consulting advice. So by getting a little bit of help for free here in this video, the least you can do is spread this video to more people in our community so we can make progress. We always talk about reaching back and helping those less fortunate among us, but most of us don't have time to really do it. So the least you can do, once again, is to share this video. I'm doing the hard work, so all you got to do is share. Okay, with that out of the way, this video may be a bit longer than most I've done in the You Can Do Better series, so bear with me. These are the same things I relayed to my own college graduate children, so if you're the first one in your family to graduate college and had no one around you to help you navigate these mean corporate streets, consider me your corporate hustling plug. Now, this article from Forbes Magazine basically outlined the struggle of sisters trying to move up the corporate ladder, but instead of bumping up against the glass ceiling, they fall off a glass cliff. Now, that's a pretty clever play on words. I'll give it to whoever came up with that one. But what does this really mean? I won't read the entire article verbatim as that would make this video way too long. Links below for those who want to read the article in its entirety. But I will read important snippets here and there. I'll read the opening 2 paragraphs right here. Quote, in 2009, Minda Harts was promoted into a senior level role in fundraising at a university. It felt like a big accomplishment and she was eager to leave her mark. Only Harts wasn't aware how much work she needed to do to clean up a department that was already in shambles. 2 years later, she quit. I was supposed to bring some black girl magic and that was unfair to me because I was really excited about this opportunity, says Harts, who has since built a successful career as an author, speaker, and workplace and equity consultant. But once I found out what it really entailed, I realized it was a battle I was not going to win, unquote. Okay, let's stop right there. I'm going to repeat something I've often said in my previous videos. Business is war. A world that loves money more than it loves humans don't care about you. They only care about what you can do for them, period. I know this sounds cold to some of y'all, but the sooner you get this ingrained in your head, the sooner you'll be more successful in your careers. So what are the problems right off the bat with this university job seek she accepted? The first buzzword is fundraising. Fundraising, being a fundraiser. Already, you know, if you have to raise funds like nonprofits do, then your job is going to come with significant challenges right off the bat. Jobs associated with fundraisers often appeal more to women than men because they make you feel connected to people so that you help humanity. That's all well and good, but there's more ways to skin a cat. If you have the need to help others, why not first make money, then use that money to help? Going right into a fundraising job at a university is asking for struggle. Struggle job. Sorry. Let's continue. Same sister, same black chick. She said, I was supposed to bring some black girl magic, and that was unfair to me because I was really excited about this opportunity. Okay, ladies, my sisters out there, it's cool to encourage each other at brunch with the black girl magic thinking. I understand all that. But out here in these corporate streets where you're trying to make money, they don't care about black girl magic. They don't care. Just go ahead and keep that in the family. The only magic this world cares about is green magic. If you can magically turn your skills into green for them, they will give you all the respect in the world. Imagine you go to a spiritual healer, for instance, because you know that such healers are known by many to heal all kinds of diseases. You find one online who seems legit for your disease, basically, and you make an appointment to get healed of whatever disease you're suffering. You pay him the money. But when he does his little thing, his little healing thing, whatever, his little pattern there, whatever he does, you get no healing afterwards. Nothing happens. Did you get your money's worth? Of course not. So you demand your money back, but he tells you you're disrespecting him. How dare you? And because of your bad energy, he couldn't heal you. So it's your fault, not his fault. See how crazy that sounds? That's how companies are. The companies are basically like you, and you're the healer, basically. When you work for these companies, it's not about what they can do for you, but what you can do for them. In this case, the university hired her to do a fundraiser. Now, you might argue, well, maybe the university didn't provide her the minimum thing she needed to do a good fundraiser, unquote. I'm just quoting, just making it up for y'all. But see, hey, just check this out. If you think like that, with that little mindset, you don't have the business warrior mindset. Before you take any job, be specific in the interview about the parameters of the job. We don't know what happened in the interview in this case for her to make her say yes to the job, of course. In the end, she chose it. She made her choice to agree to it without requiring the things she needed to be successful up front. You got to ask for things up front. I plan to do a separate video about another article I read in Business Insider of an HR executive who used to work for a major tech company where he outlined the best ways to ask questions about benefits and job satisfaction in a job interview. He has some good ideas. But one of the takeaways is that you, as the interviewee, have to be prepared to flip the interview script on the hiring manager so that you get enough info about what you might be getting into up front. Finally, she said, quote, but once I found out what it really entailed, I realized it was a battle I was not going to win, unquote. Oh boy, already this confirms what I just said, that she didn't dig deep enough into the job details to know what tools she would need or have to work with and what she needs to bring to the table. This usually happens when we think of jobs in terms of what we get out of it instead of what the organization gets from us. I've never seen many fundraiser type jobs that are cushy or have a minimum thing or set of things you need to succeed. They normally come in a deficit. It's a tough sales job, And successful salespeople have a warrior mindset where you can drop them into any battlefield and they can often make a way. Please like, share, and subscribe to help more of our people succeed and to help us become number one in median incomes. Okay, let's skip to another case study in this article, that of Simone Oliver, who used to be the global editor-in-chief of Refinery 29. She quit that high-level job after 2 years. Let's read what happened. Quote, when Oliver joined Refinery 29 in September 2020, it was 3 months after the publication's co-founder and global editor-in-chief Christine Barberich had resigned amid public outcry from employees about workplace discrimination and lack of racial diversity. In a now-deleted Instagram post, Barberich wrote, quote, I've read and taken in the raw and personal accounts of Black women and women of color regarding their experiences inside our company at Refinery 29. I will be stepping aside in my role at R29 Refinery 29 to help diversify our leadership in editorial and ensure this brand and the people it touches can spark a new defining chapter, unquote. All that psychobabble to me. In other words, she quit basically to make room for more Black women to, come up in Refinery 29's executive hierarchy, basically, long story short. So, continuing, quote, Oliver, that's our sister girl here, is a classic example of a Black woman being called in to clean up a mess she didn't create. When she joined Refinery 29, it was less than a year after it had been acquired by Vice Media Group. The once high-flying women's media site had been through 3 rounds of layoffs in as many years. Oliver did not respond to our request to be interviewed for this story. Continuing, quote, it's not equitable to put Black women in positions where they're not being supported, says Hartz. It's unfortunate that a lot of us are put in positions to turn water into wine, unquote. Really? Oh my goodness. Okay, stop right there. Let's stop. Did you catch anything out of all of that? I'll give you a minute to pause and rewind to see if anything jumps out. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Almost there, tick tock. Okay, time's up. Did you figure it out? Okay, I want to focus on one sentence. Quote, Oliver is a classic example of a Black woman being called in to clean up a mess she didn't create, unquote. Oh boy, my people, when it comes to companies paying us lots of money for executive positions, they don't pay all that money to give you a unicorn Disney fantasy job. In my 30 plus years, I can count on one hand how many near perfect projects I've been involved in. For those of you who are familiar with the way to measure the level of maturity and capabilities of companies, there's a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is the most dysfunctional company and 5 is that unicorn kind of company. It is rare for a company to be a 5. And even then, they're only a 5 in certain departments and business groups, not the entire organization. Most companies out there in the world are in the 2 to 3 range. Please write that down or commit it to memory so you don't get disappointed out here in the corporate streets. Don't go out here embarrassing yourself and other brothers and sisters by expecting companies that love money to just hand you a pile of cash and give you a perfect job where you have ample budgets and support staff who also massage your feet and your back at the end of the day. That don't happen. That's not how business works. These companies are imperfect and they need your help to become better. I'm in a corporate executive situation right now with a major global technology corporation that has a lot of ugly imperfections. I'm a seasoned veteran out here, seasoned business vet, so I don't expect perfection. All I ask is, what's the problem? Who are the points of contact? And then I just make it happen. I'm a business warrior, and when you drop me into a war like the 101st Airborne Soldiers out there, in the military and the army or whatever, I hit the ground running in mud, water, dirt, snakes in the field, etc. It ain't perfect, it ain't pretty, but just like the Marines, I make a way for other soldiers to come behind me. That's what leaders do. If you want to go into crippling student loan debt to get a 4-year university degree and enter the workforce, you better get it in your mind right now that companies want you to be the Marines and the airborne parachute person that they can drop into in an ugly war and build a smooth path for others to follow. If you don't have what it takes to blaze trails in ugly places, then fall back and wait on others to do it so you can have a unicorn path to follow. But just remember, nobody rewards those who follow. They reward the leaders, the trailblazers, right? They don't reward followers. Let's continue. Now, Sister Kyra Kyles, CEO of YR Media, said the following to support the idea that sisters have unique challenges in the corporate world. Pay close attention. Quote, "You're not just tackling a business need, you're also being asked to tackle and transform culture," she said. "You're already coming in at somewhat of a deficit because you're coming in at a tumultuous time for all organizations and media in particular. And on top of that, the expectations are often highly unrealistic," unquote. Okay, stop right there again. Oh boy. Ironically, I agree with this statement, but not the way she would expect. What she just described is true for everyone. Specifically, in my case, I literally help companies, big corporations, use the latest cloud computing technology to transform not only business processes, but entire business cultures. That's life. That's how it goes. All companies are going through tumultuous times because they are at war. The problem, I think, some of these sisters are connecting, or some of these sisters are connecting with, is the war side of the companies they work for. They have a disconnect there with the war side. They see the peace side, but not the war side. The front lines of corporate wars are often on the sales and marketing teams, the legal team, and the top executive team. These teams have to go on offense and defense to protect the company and help the company grow so that they can pay your salaries. The further away this frontline war reality is from your job, the more entitled to cushy unicorn jobs you will be. In other words, because you don't see the war, you just come in on the back end, you don't see the war, you just come in like, I need all this to succeed. No. It's all the company is war, at war. Everybody in the company is at war. So we rewind and play what I just said. I know I said a lot there, but just go back over that and review it again. Continuing, Dr. Boyce Watkins made a comment recently I think should be repeated to all brothers and sisters. He said, and I'll just kind of paraphrase, "We were born into economic war before we came out of the womb." I paraphrased that a bit, but this was what he was talking about. I think he got that from Claude Anderson, who was another source more of us should listen to.
It said, okay, my baby's born, my baby's going to be dropped in the middle of economic warfare, so I'm going to start investing for this child so they have an economic stronghold to go back to in case the world, rejects them.
So not only is business war, you, brothers and sisters out there, all of us, were born into this war without the weapons to fight it properly. You didn't know you were thrown into a war. But I'm giving you some weapons right now. And of course, the Bible itself, the Bible tells you to put on the armor of God. For those sisters who faithfully go to church, y'all, you guys are the big churchgoers out there. But of course, too many of these churches are overly focused on prosperity gospel and manifestations, new age nonsense. I hate to say it like that. That promote entitlement over hard work. You have to put in the work, people. You don't speak stuff into existence. You have to work for this stuff. Faith without works is dead. But anyway, okay, now we're about to get into the parts of the article I found both laughable and very detached from business war reality. No offense to the writers and those interviewed, but I sincerely recommend you hire business coaches like me to have a totally different perspective. Now, y'all's favorite Hollywood mogul was quoted in this article. Shonda Rhimes, in her New York Times bestselling memoir, which is called Year of Yes, the showrunner talks about the pressure she felt being what she calls an FOD, first only different. Quote, when you are an FOD, she writes, you are saddled with that burden of extra responsibility, whether you want it or not, unquote. Why, Shonda? Why? I can tell she didn't watch a clip of late comedian and civil rights activist Dick Gregory right before he died not long ago, where he used to get mad at blacks who told their children they had to be twice as good as whites in order to be successful. He would say, nonsense! When you tell children that, it makes them subconsciously feel inferior, like just being themselves is not good enough. And Brother Gregory was doggone right. Stop this nonsense where you feel you have to do more than anybody else to please massa. You got to be extra better, extra perfect. No. Who told you that? You're good enough just as you are. Just be the best you can be and pick better majors in school. I strongly recommend STEM careers. You don't have to burden your mind with that unbearable yoke of being twice as perfect as anybody else. That's stupid. Now, continuing, the same Sister Kyles goes on to say this, quote, black women need the same room to fail and grace to rebound as their white male counterparts. Just look at WeWork founder Adam Newman's $350 million comeback, which has been described as a slap in the face to female founders and founders of color, seeing as the amount is more than the $324 million raised by all U.S. black founded startups combined in the second quarter of this year, unquote. Whew. Damn, she talks a lot. Be quiet. Continuing, quote, we have to be given the same opportunities and chances as our white male counterparts across corporate America, says Kyles, unquote. Oh my goodness. Ladies, what are they teaching in business school these days? Something's wrong. Y'all getting some messed up knowledge out there. Anyway, notice this need to compare black women to white males. Ladies, this doesn't make any sense. Between black women and white males, income-wise, between those two spectrums are black and Hispanic men who make more than y'all, followed by white women who make more than y'all. So why not take baby steps and try to move up to black men's incomes first? It's a waste of time worrying about what some other guy's making. Worry about what you're making and how you can improve your income. Also, people who make this useless comparison ignore the fact that the median income of Asian men is higher than white men by a big margin. If you're going to target the highest income group, why not go for number one instead of number two? But I strongly advise sisters not to focus on the incomes of others. I mean, that's futile. That's too much work to worry about somebody else. Worry about yourself. Just focus on making yourself the best version of you, which should include, once again, going for STEM careers instead of struggle and passion majors. I talked about that in previous videos, so watch those videos in the past. Now, here's the most unbelievable part of the article right here. Get ready. Sister Kyles continues, oh boy, quote, to help combat the glass cliff facing black women leaders, Kyles argues we shouldn't only be brought into leadership roles in times of crisis. We should be brought in when things are going well. Perfect. So that we can take it to the next level, she says. Quote, when you're spending time doing cleanup, you can't grow. But you have investors and advertisers who are expecting growth. They're not recognizing that you were brought in literally to clean up someone else's mess, unquote. What the? Oh my goodness. What schools you guys are graduating from? What is she talking about? Okay. I'm not sure how many of you out there think this is right, but let's unpack this statement. She said, quote, we should be brought in when things are going well so that we can take it to the next level, unquote. Are you kidding me? Are you doggone kidding me? No, that's not how business works. This is completely naive. So you want companies to pay you lots of money and hand you a job that is the perfect unicorn Disney situation where angels descend on your shoulders, feeding you grapes to help you save the company? Get out of here. No. Again, business is war. You don't get beautiful things in war. It's ugly. When companies hire you, They're doing so because they need help. They're not perfect. They're hiring you as a mercenary, not a charity case. You're not a massage client. When a company hires anybody, most likely things are not going well. So this statement by the sisters actually not only embarrassing, but also makes sisters less desirable as employees. I'm not trying to pick on her, but there's a disconnect there that's not working. I'm not trying to be mean. Non-black hiring managers will just smile in your face because the mainstream media temporarily favors sisters right now. But when you're not around, they are passively aggressively plotting how to avoid hiring you. And ladies, I'm here as your brother and uncle to help you avoid that fate. You can see already right now, affirmative action is actually getting quietly destroyed right now. I mean, it's by both liberals and conservative white people. So that shows you there's a disconnect there. But let's continue because this sister had even more unfortunate things to say. Quote, oftentimes we're hired, we're not given the full breadth and scope of what's really required to be successful in a role, she says. It's not enough to just put a black woman in a position if she's not supported in resources, dollars, and sponsorships. These tools must be available to her so she can be successful, unquote. Oh my God. Just the words we're not given off the bat just threw me out. What are you talking about? Let's analyze that alone. In war, no soldier expects to be given anything by the enemy. Where do they do that at? We don't need to beg for support. The world does not care. Companies don't hire sisters so that women feel good, no matter what they tell you. They hire you, like everyone else, to get something of value from you. You're there to solve their problems, not for them to solve your problems and cater to you. Companies are in a constant pursuit of money, and that means they pursue prospective customers, not employees. Employees cost money, not generate organic revenue like customers. I mean, that's the reality. That's not being mean. That's how it is. Now, pay attention. As an employee, you are a cost to the company, whether good or bad. They will hardly ever put you in a perfect fantasy job because it is up to you to come in and use your brains, your little 4-year university brains, to turn things around. Your little MBA degrees, all those master's degrees, all that, use that. This is true for all employees, regardless of race or skin color or sex. For some reason, many of my sisters out there didn't get this memo. And I suspect it's because of the fact that most sisters coming out of college don't have anyone around them to school them on the harsh realities of business warfare. Okay, I'll wrap up with this last quote from the same sister who spoke on the notion of why sisters feel the need to put their own needs last to please the corporate beast. Oh, boy, she had a lot to say, apparently. Quote, it's because black women are powerful. We are known as strong. We are given all sorts of superhuman qualities, but none of the superhuman support that should come with that, says Kyles. We need to be able to say, hey, I need a break. Oh, boy. Instead of being asked to come in and work miracles and do it without any form of complaint. That's an unrealistic expectation to place on anyone, and especially women of color, unquote. Oh my goodness, really? Did you? Let me read that last part again. That's an unrealistic expectation to place on anyone, especially women of color. You guys are giving all the enemies out there all the worst impressions of black women with that kind of statement. I hate to say that. Okay, ladies, set aside your emotions for a second here. I'm being a little tough love here. Every executive is assumed to have superhuman qualities when they are getting paid a big chunk of money to come in and turn around a struggling scenario. That's life. That's for everybody. I mean, not just black women, black men, white women, Asian men, Asian women, all of us. Most of the time, there won't be any superhuman support to help you with your superhuman qualities they expect of you. Again, unicorn job situations are very rare. You get a degree because you're expected to think outside the box. Your college degree, your education should help you think outside the box. That's what they expect, regardless of how perfect the context is. The complaint she made of being asked to perform miracles is unrealistic on her part, especially for women of color. That is silly exceptionalism that does not belong in the workplace. Companies hire you to help them with their problem areas, not oversee picture-perfect fantasy scenarios. Business is ugly because what? Business is war. This is something sisters can learn from successful brothers instead of assuming we're all the enemy. Not all brothers are trash. And that's what I want sisters to understand, black women. You have to learn how to socialize and network better with people who are not black women like you. I know some sisters out there know this. I'm not talking about you. I know you're out there. But I travel a lot for business to different cities. So I've seen sisters in various contexts. What I noticed is that of all the groups, our sisters, our black women, a lot of y'all tend to be socially awkward in, networking environments when it comes to, business networking and general socializing at happy hours, golfing, tennis, etc. This is where true business is done because this is where executives are relaxed. They're disarmed. Often, sisters socialize in groups of other sisters and rarely break from these groups. How is that success-minded? You heard before that in order to reach new levels of success, you have to expand your group and surround yourself with the kinds of people you want to become like. Do that, ladies. Do that. Break out of your comfort zone. Try to go out with 1 or 2 of your friends instead of 5 or 10, where you'll be stuck socializing with them, your girlfriends, instead of getting out your comfort zone to network with successful businessmen and women. Of all the groups I encounter in various upscale social scenarios around the country, my black queens out there are the main ones who tend to cling to other sisters and seldom venture out of that group, out of that clique. It's good to be loyal to sisters, of course, but you have to get out of that comfort zone and mix and mingle a lot better in the business environment. I've seen and met a tiny few sisters who do well at networking, which is good, but we need more. And I wish they would help more black women do the same. So to recap, my people, black women specifically, my sisters, please commit to memory that business is war. It's not pretty. It's not a Disney fantasy. Get that out of your mind right now. The idea of expecting business angels to descend from heaven to make corporate life comfortable and cozy to cater to you is absolutely naive and failure prone. You're missing the whole corporate mission. None of us are entitled to anything in life. Whatever we get has to be seized by any means necessary, like any war. You have to get out of your comfort zone and network outside of work with successful people in your industry, including other black men such as myself who are more familiar with you and our unique background. Ladies, us successful brothers can help you get to the next level. I personally have helped black women over the years who listened. The ones who didn't are still struggling because they have not learned to expand their horizons. Don't be that chick. If you see me out and about like some of you do, don't hesitate to strike up a conversation about this topic. Especially you sisters out there who don't have anyone else to coach you on taking your careers and incomes to the next level. But the most important thing is to stop picking struggle majors to begin with. Stop picking those passion majors. I said it before, criminal justice, sociology, history, architecture, whatever y'all be picking out there, all that stuff, just because you like it doesn't mean you're going to pay money. Unfortunately, you're not a millionaire. You don't have that kind of money to pick anything you want to do. You got to make money first and then enjoy stuff later. Not enjoy right now. It's not going to work like that. Stick with careers and skills that are in high demand. That way, you have better leverage when it comes to negotiating better job contexts and pay. All right, I better get some sleep now. It's kind of late. Until the next video, brothers and sisters, take care. Until the next video, take care, brothers and sisters.